So, on Facebook, I am part of quite possibly one of the greatest wrestling groups in there on Facebook. It's called the National African American Wrestling Group. It's basically, in the name, it's basically a group dedicated to the black wrestling fans. So, because it's like, I'm not necessarily taking anything away from white wrestling fans when I say this, but it's really weird to hear a white wrestling fan's take on a black wrestler because it's usually negative, and part of me just can't. Like when Kofi won the title, there was a really weird kind of backlash about him winning the title because people were always saying stuff like, "Oh, he wasn't ready for it," or "He wasn't," his matches aren't really that good. It was all these hypercritical stuff, and it automatically registered to me as some of these fans may have an idea of what they want in a champion, but some of these fans are probably just upset that Kofi is black. Because if there's anybody who was ready for any world title win, it's the guy who was winning like title after title after title after title after title for the past 11 or so years. So in any case, to be able to know that I can sort of be in a group where I don't have to worry about that as much is a good feeling. I mean, granted, there are fans there that aren't black people, but it's still mostly a people of color group for professional wrestling fans, which is, you know, it's kind of it's a relief. So there's that. I didn't want to start off racially, but I will. But like it's there, and I'm just saying. And one of the big things in that group that they love talking about is the fact that because Lashley won the title, one of the big matches that they are pushing for is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna just go ahead and say for me, specifically for me, I don't want that match. Like at all. I didn't want that match when Brock Lesnar was healthy. I don't want that match now. Because, you know, for multiple reasons. One, Vince McMahon is not gonna have Lashley lose. I mean have Lashley beat Lesnar. Because Lesnar is Vince McMahon's prototypical wrestler. I mean, it makes too much sense for I feel like Lesnar is basically like Vince's Great White Hope. So no, I don't see that. I don't see a victory for Lashley if it's against Lesnar. Not necessarily because Lashley isn't that good of a wrestler, but because of the fact that Lashley going over Lesnar will kind of just sort of it will be kind of like the boxing match that was banned all over the world kind of scenario. Look it up, by the way. It's actually really, really, really good. Vox is a great channel. Um, but yeah, I'm just not ready to ever see that. However, after watching the Royal Rumble, I will say I am ready for Lashley versus Langston. And it's not because they're both black. I need for y'all to just sort of understand. I mean, like, as a black guy, this is quite possibly the pinnacle of black wrestling for me. And I am super excited for Belair and Banks. And that match is going to be fun. That match is going to be fun to watch because it's two top tier ladies at WrestleMania for a championship. But no, Lashley versus Lesnar for me is going to be slow. It's going to be boring. I mean, like Lesnar, what is he going to do? Like about 8 German suplexes, and then be like, you know what? I'm not in the mood to do anything else. Let's just finish the match right here. It's not going to be exciting to watch, at least not for me. But then again, like watching two behemoths like wrestle each other is not. It has never been like I mean like to put it in perspective, it's not going to be a work of art like Angle versus Benoit at the Royal Rumble 2003. It's not going to be spectacular like and I'm saying this from my perspective, but like for example, I saw the stairs match between Big Show and Roman at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, and that match was actually really good. The finish was even nicer because you had this wall of stairs and somebody just got ran through it. It's like you never saw that before. That was not something that you ever saw, and then you see it between Rowan and you know Big Show, and that was I mean like these were two lumbering behemoths just sort of colliding into each other, but that match was still good because Rowan is ridiculously athletic for a man his size. We really need to not ignore that. Um, but yeah, but in the case of like Lesnar, like because a lot of people are expecting like some sort of MMA competition, blah blah blah. But it's like you remember when Cain Velasquez, who was it? Was it Cain Velasquez or Junior Dos Santos? I forgot who was in it, but it was like it was right after Kofi lost to Lesnar, and it was for this match or something. And I think it was Cain Velasquez because I know Cain Velasquez actually was training to become a wrestler, and he was actually doing really good in Mexico. So to bring him from Mexico just to lose to Lesnar in one night and just never show up again is just for what? Why? What am I? Why am I supposed to care about this? So no. I mean, if we're gonna have two big meaty men bumping meat, it has to be the biggest, meatiest man against the originator of the phrase. Lashley versus Langston needs to happen. I mean, if y'all saw them at the Royal Rumble, y'all know that match would be money. Like that match is money, you know. And speaking of which, like shout out to Africa for giving us, Uha Nation and Omos right now. So hell yeah. I'm just saying, like right now, this is peak black wrestling, and I feel like if Vince McMahon gets his way, like Lesnar will just destroy it, and I don't want to see that happen. That's just my take, though. But let me just go ahead and just finish it off with this. I hate doing videos like this. Videos like this, I can't stand doing because of the fact that I would rather be wrestling than talking about it. But you get me started on wrestling, I can't stop. So I might do some on my podcast down the line once I take a break from politics because right now politics is pretty wild. I mean, Matt Gates definitely did that stuff. I mean, you can just look at him and tell he did something. That dude's head is a perfect square. You can't trust a guy with a perfectly square head like that. Um, but that's it though. Love and peace. Y'all have a good one.